Yeah, I wanted to talk about this thing that what's her name, Omeretta said about female rappers. Since we're talking about classic albums, it
Well, yeah,
said,
hold on. Can we just finish up like the classic talk right quick
well, I
though?
mean,
Like,
this kind of goes in with it because it says it's harder. It is harder for female rappers to make a classic album in hip hop. That was the question.
mm, mm.
And this post actually came from our people over there at Critics of Culture, and this is what she said real quick. For men, it's like in order to be a great. Can you hear that? For men,
Yeah.
it's like in order to be a great rapper, you gotta have like one amazing album, right? Why isn't it that women are expected to have like an amazing album too? Like the only amazing woman album that we really pay attention to is a Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. But
Ooh,
that wasn't even a real rap album. It was like singing.
right.
Right. Because female rap just tricky. Like, it's not all about good songs. It's more about girls just popping their shit. Like, so it's not even. But it don't have to be. It don't have to be, but that's like the standard. Like, it's just, that's what they like. Like, girls just getting on the track, popping their shit. So, a lot of the songs, they not real songs. They just songs that make people feel good. Yeah. So, like, the standard for female rap is kind of different. But I feel like the standard for music nowadays is different, period. Like, people don't really have good albums no more. So, do you think that the since we're talking classic and classic criteria, do you think that that's different for female MCs? And what female MC would you say just top to bottom made a hip hop classic that we talk about in that vein?
So even though that was brief, it's unpacking a lot of things. Um, First of all, that's what I mean. Like, not all classics are built the same. She said something very strong when she said that the only female album that we hold as a classic is Lauryn Hill's album, and that's not really a rap album. Because here's the thing, and this is where I tell you that like hip hop is still like misogynistic and contrived and still kind of like a man's world type of game. Well, hardcore and funkified and Il Nana, like these albums don't get held high. Black Rain by Queen Latifah, Light as a Rock. You know what I mean? Like these albums don't get canonized within their own community, but people will argue about Watch the Throne being a classic. So you get what I'm saying? So part of the problem is the men. So when she's saying that, and when she's talking about how the, I mean, Mike, everything she was saying, it's like I thought about Ruby Rose because I seen Ruby Rose like about 20 times before I ever heard her rap.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I'm not like trying to call her out, but it's like I saw her about 20 times before I ever heard her rap, Mike. And so just off of that, right there alone, that modern day perspective, oh, she's saying a lot of detailed and poignant things. And that's why I told you Che Noir making the type of rap album that she just made that like is actually a viable album of the year contender is so super important, and more people need to be talking about it and covering it so that maybe one day we can look back on it the way we look back at a Black Star or look back at a Watch the Throne and argue about its classic status, since we're arguing about albums like those classic status. And I mean that with some real fucking disdain, Mike, because it's sad.
Well, you know what? I think that the
How about this?
album.
Hardcore by Lil Kim's better than Watch the Throne and Black Star.
Well, I was
Fuck
gonna
those
mention
albums. I'll play
hardcore.
hardcore. I'll play both those albums.
I was gonna mention hardcore, but since you went to the Che Noir thing, I do think that it's tragic that people don't fight over Rhapsody's Eve in that way in recent
Right.
time, And again, you know me, I've said, I'm not huge on, Rhapsody in that way, but the Eve album is a quality album and I think probably was the best hip hop album of 2019, but it doesn't get framed in that way and it's wild because I really feel like, and I hate to pull anybody's name out, but if J. Cole made that same exact album, same lyrics, same beats, and everything, they would have said
Hold
that
on.
that was the best album of 2019.
Hold on. Imagine J. Cole or Kendrick releasing an album called Adam with only titles of strong black leaders
Yeah.
and forefathers, and the dichotomy of the songs was built around what those people personified.
And she did that.
To the masses, and she did that and pulled it off, and nobody
And
paid
nobody's
attention.
saying
Now,
anything.
now, if Kendrick would have just did that on this last album and it was still Submit, we would still be talking
It
about
would
him
be
because he just made
groundbreaking.
Submit, and we still talking about him. And so when I am literally saying we are the problem, I'm saying you got a dick, I got a dick, and we are the problem. And why these women are not getting these shine, because that's some motherfucking bullshit. Like Che Noir's album is so much better than the Kendrick album, it's ridiculous.
Esquire with the super chat says, just gonna get this off real quick because I'm late. Coop won the Cast/Tribe battle handily.
I did.
Show was epic indeed. Esquire, you trolling? Are you trolling? Mad Max with the super chat says modern day classics are Astro World, Trap Soul, Take Care, Good Kid, Mad City, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Control System. That's a good one. 2014 Forest Hill Drive, Victory Lap. A lot of these are Moody albums. This is a mood era from one of our young constituents there. 4-5 The Hero says Moni Love's album is the first classic.
See?
We don't talk about Moni Love enough.
We don't talk Moni Love enough, and Moni Love is down here, Mike. I told you, her daughter and my daughter were in Honey's, the real Honey, like the real Honey, not the Jessica Alba movie. The real Honey has a hip hop dance school down here. And I met Moni Love up there. You remember when we were talking, this before we went viral and like went online and everything when I was still writing, but I was trying to get us to get some cameras up there to get like the hip hop dance school on film. And Moni Love's daughter was up there one day. Like Honey was telling me, she's like, you know who that is, right? I'm like, no, you know what I mean? Like it's like 9:00 in the morning. All these kids are like listening to all this rap shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on. She's like, that's Moni Love, Coop. I'm like,
that's
shit.
What's up.
Oh my God, I looked, I was like, oh shit, that's what's up.
I mean, because as classic as Ladies First is, for Queen Latifah, who is an icon, I don't think Queen Latifah gets enough props in this hip hop sphere either. But people act like Moni Love ain't on that record. She's all over that record.
She's killing that record, Mike. It's one of the best back and forths ever, Mike.
Right. Michael Williams with the super chat says, what's the better album, Magic or American Gangster?
Magic.
Huh. That's tough. I'll think about that. Mad Max with the super chat says, I thought that Lil Sims, I like Lil Sims' album too, was great and should be considered a classic, but women rappers aren't that good. All that cat talk only lit for the few joints. I like Lil Sims' album. I think me and Coop was talking about that album last year. My man Mark Wright sent that to me, man, and I was like, yo, I'm fucking with this. CJ Kidd says, Coop, I heard Bounce off your album. Thought the Neptunes produced it. Who did that beat?
Oh, wow. He's been digging in my shit. Okay. So, Mike, I'm going to tell a quick story right quick.
This is how I met that subject, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and we'll transition. This is how I met my guy, Obi. So, Obi did that beat. Obi, who I always talk about, that was my producer out in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
So, Obi lives in South America now, but Obi's from Sacramento. But Obi's family is from Africa. Okay? But I met him in Southern California. When I went to his house, that was the first beat that he played me, and I freestyled the hook to bounce. Like, that was the freestyle. The hook to bounce is actually the freestyle that I was kicking the first time that we kicked it over his house, and he played some beats. And I literally asked him, I said, the Neptunes are your favorite producers, aren't you? He said, I fucking love the Neptunes. And to this day, he and I still have Neptunes-like arguments and conversations. So yes, Bounce was a Neptunes-inspired beat because Obi's favorite producers, much like Mike's, Neptunes.
Well, you gotta tune into that Patreon.
And much like Mike, Big Tribe and Big Q-Tip fan Obi is too. So I've been dealing with these guys my whole rap life, right?
Ethan Hill with the super chat says, not many female MCs can touch Jean Grey. Jean Grey got some new material coming out. I'm really big on Jean Grey. She's super nice.
Always has been.
People are saying Jay Noir over Rhapsody. But I do think it's, all right, it's very interesting that I think that the one female hip-hop album that gets held as the classic would be Lil' Kim's Hardcore. And I think that it's interesting that album, from an image standpoint, also is the one that changed the trajectory and what's expected from female MCs moving forward in the mainstream.
Okay, people need to understand this. That album cover, like, forget everything else. That album cover, like, she looked like, it was like, she was like the Victoria's Secret model, but she was from your neighborhood.
Imagine if Instagram was around for that album.
Oh, Mike, she would have shut down the internet with just the cover. I remember the ad work. We were looking at the ads for it. We had never seen a woman even projected to us that way. Like, she's by the fireplace in the little kitty, like, bent up. Like, and Kim is fine. I don't care what anybody, without any plastic surgery, this motherfucker was special.
Because before that, we had the Brat, we had Boss, you had Light, like
we had plenty of people not like this, Mike.
But I'm just saying, as far as like the presentation and what was being brought to you, it was more of like, even if it was attractive female MCs, they were clothed up like dudes. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And I think Kim kind of added a little bit of femininity to that part of it. And
she didn't add a little femininity to it, Mike. I mean, she made that shit sexy. Mike, the ads for the album coming, it was like...
Well, I don't want to forget Salt and Pepper because they were doing it too. But Kim added a level of street to it.
This is different because here's what people understand is that, like, well, when hardcore is coming out, she's already got some run on Players Anthem and Get Money and I Need You Tonight. And No Time is circulating, Mike. And she's saying shit like, I'm drinking babies. They're not cracks for the Mercedes. Act shady and feel my 380. Oh, that's sexy as fuck. It's sick. Wasn't nobody talking like that, Mike. Wasn't nobody talking like that. It's like, so you're hearing her talk like that, and then you're seeing the album cover, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I went to in my mind. You remember Jasmine Guy's character in Harlem Nights?
Mm-hmm.
That's who Lil' Kim is on Hardcore with me. She's like that sexy motherfucker that will still set you up and murder you, but you still want her because she's that bad and she's that special, but she's still kind of like classy, like you want a lady to be, but she's like really slutty in bed. Like, it's like she's a hood nigga's dream, Mike.
4-5 the Hero says, does Eve have a classic? I think the first album's close, but
first album's close. Yeah, first album. How about this? That first album suffers from too many tracks. Like, they could have cut about 4, 5, 6 songs off there, and it would be held in much higher regard. It's too much material on there.
I think Eve had all the ability to make a classic.
No, that's almost there. They just did too much work. But that was also the time. I think Master P had inspired so many people around that time to make these 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 track albums, and then the skits become a big thing. And it was like, man, you could have made that about 12 or 13 joints with about 2 or 3 skits. Because think about it. She got the joint with Drag On. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? That started off the album. She got Philly Philly on there with Siegel.
Yep.
Scenario, Rough Riders remixes on there.
Love is Blind
is on there. Yep. That's what I mean. No. There's
heat on there.
There's a lot of heat on there.
Yeah. Mad Max to the Super Chat says, Shay, Rhapsody, and girls like that, fan bases are majority men, Coop. It's not the men, it's the women. They don't want to promote them. I think that's a very
the women don't just. Maybe all women don't want to be hoes. Like, how about that? Or look like hoes on the camera. Maybe women want to be respected in this craft for what they do and what they bring to the table, the same way the fucking men are.
Well, hold on. What he's saying though is women don't support Shay Noir and Rhapsody at the level that they should. Is that not fair to say?
Okay. That's fair.
Because we're fans.
That's what I'm saying. How are they being projected, though? Because here's what I'm going to tell you, and here's what I mean about skill speaking. Let's go to a few guys. Well, I'll never forget when I was sitting next to my homegirl, and she had Tupac's tape. And she looked at me, and she was like, Coop, you know this nigga Tupac's sexy, right? This is the Strictly for My Niggas tape. I didn't know because I didn't look at Tupac that way, but it occurred to me that it's like, oh, women looked at him that way. Mike, the label didn't pitch Tupac as a sex symbol on his first 2 albums. Women did. Mike, Method Man and Nas. Method Man's first singles, Bring the Pain. Nas's first singles, Ain't Hard to Tell and World is Yours. They didn't get pitched as sex singles. women gravitated towards them as sex singles because they're attractive. They got respected for their mic skills, Mike.
Well, what? All right, let me.
They got respected for their mic skills.
Maybe I missed your point.
Method Man and Bring the Pain. Don't tell me that chicks was running around singing Method Man and Bring the Pain.
Maybe I missed your point, but why don't you think women listen to Rhapsody and Shay Noir at the level they should?
No, that's what I mean. Is because like this game has been like what they did with Little Kim. Like all they've done is taken that and made it a force multiplier. And so it's like if you don't do that and do that well, they're not going to play you and put you into circulation to empower those young ladies. How about this? Like Light and Latifah were set up for success because there were women that came before them that laid groundwork for them to do what they did. You feel what I'm saying? Some of the groundwork has been lost because now it's just an over-sexualization.
What do you think that Shay, if you were a marketing team or A&Ring Shay Noir, and I mean, shit, we can even say, let's just stick with Shay and Rhapsody. Yeah. What do you think that they can do or should do to get more woman support as fans?
I don't know. I don't have the answers. Like, I have to be totally honest. I don't have the answers. I've thought about it, Mike, but I don't have the answers. I don't pretend to have the answers. What I will tell you is that, like, in Eve, the album by Rhapsody,
that should be held high by women everywhere, I think.
And Food for Thought by Che Noir, I'm hearing two of the best projects of the last 5 years, period. But I'm hearing two of the best projects that like a woman has ever put together on the mic, and nobody's talking about them, and that's just sad. And so I don't have the answers. I can only document the sadness of it because it doesn't need to be occurring this way. Because here's the thing about it. That's what I mean about Light and Latifah being set up for success. No, we heard their shit. And like Che Noir and Rhapsody are more on some Light and Latifah shit, and that used to be enough. Like that was enough to get you some run. And they're not even getting their appropriate run because, to be honest with you, like Eve and Food for Thought sound better than any album Light and Latifah ever put together, Mike.
Non-Plus with the super chat says Magic greater than American Gangster. CJ Kid says it is crazy. Is it crazy if I say Black Rain is better than hardcore? Wouldn't be crazy. Black Rain got some joints, man. Just Another Day, UNITY is on there. Ahmed said, best rap concept album, Only Built for Cuban Links, Prince Among Thieves, Good Kid, Mad City, De La Soul is Dead, Ready to Die, or Disposable Art. You want to talk about concept? I love Prince Amongst Thieves or De La Soul is Dead, in my opinion.
Both of those are Prince Paul, so you can't pick two Prince Paul albums, Mike. You got to add some diversity to the situation. Yeah. I would tell you though, Mike,
Prince Amongst Thieves is actually a better concept album.
I think. How about this? I'm about to say, if we're talking concept album, Prince Amongst Thieves is actually the best concept album. Would we agree with that?
I agree.
But if we're talking about the execution of a concept album, Mike, it would go based on what he said, Only Built for Cuban Links, Ready to Die, De La Soul is Dead. If we're talking about the quality of the execution, top three wise. Because here's the thing, and I tell people this. Well, Jay is the most charismatic guy next to Big and Pac, but everything that Jay is talking about almost on Reasonable Doubt, or Ray and Ghost are talking about the year before on the Purple Tape, it's just way more grittier and grimier and on RZA beats.
Yeah.
And the Purple Tape is way better than Reasonable Doubt, in my opinion. Like, there's a gap between those types. How about this? This is what I mean, there's gaps. Oh, there's a gap even between the type of classic Reasonable Doubt is versus what the Purple Tape is, in my opinion. You feel what I'm saying? Because just off beats alone, Mike, just off beats alone, it's washing Reasonable Doubt out the water.
There's an ice cream gap and an incarcerated Scarface gap. And
Mike, in a verbal intercourse and glaciers of ice and ice water gap, Mike, in a guillotine gap, Mike, in a criminology gap, and a knuckleheads and a heaven and hell and Wu Gambino's gap, Mike. Every beat on the Purple Tape is better than the beats on Reasonable Doubt. Like literally,
and that's not a knock because I think the Purple Tape's the best album to ever come out of Wu-Tang on all levels. So.
Best beat, Mike. It might be the Purple Tape might be the best selection of beats I've ever heard on one album ever.
CJ Kid with the super chat says thoughts on Organized Confusion and Pharoah Monch. I mean, they're great.
Highly regarded.
Monch has had an incredible career. Mad Max says, and Shay's album was good, but it's not like you guys are saying the production wasn't all that. To me, I thought Shay had better projects before this latest one. Okay.
See, we don't be doing all this stuff with the guys. Like when the guys are bubbling like this, we don't do this. Like think about this. Look at West Side Gun, Hitler Wears Hermes series. Every time that nigga drops some niggas in the street be like, classic, classic, classic. Like Food for Thought's better than most of those projects, and it's like nobody's saying nothing. So when I'm saying we're the problem, that's what I'm talking about.
Jay Short says, women do the same thing in R&B. I don't see them lining up to see CeeLo, Ruben Studdard, or The Dream. The Dream is a great songwriter, but no six pack. Sean Lindsay with the super chat says, Naked Truth got 5 mics though. It did. CJ Kidd says, thoughts on Coastal Contra and Girl Code. Girl Code's dope. Man, I got to get on this Coastal Contra. Y'all keep talking about Coastal Contra.
We do, because they keep talking about it. So we going to jump.
Michael Williams says, would you be happy if Hit Boy solely produced every Nas album for the rest of Nas's career? Or would you want to see him work with other producers?
No. Everything has a place, a space, and a time. And I have a feeling, I have this feeling that this is probably going to be the last pairing we get out of them. I have a feeling.
Yeah. I think, you get a part 3 and that's pretty much it. But Magic was a bonus.
Yeah, well, I mean, right. You're getting 4 albums out of them. It's like, how much do you want a producer and an MC to work together? Because that's usually, Mike, that's what I'm saying. They're doing literally a careers.
Yep. I was going to say, they need a group name
2 or 3 years. Mike, how many albums did Gangstar do? How many albums did Eric B. and Rakim do?
Yeah, 4.
Mike, I was meaning to tell you. Don't Sweat the Technique came on the other day. Like the video. I've started watching rap videos again. I've started watching like them old like Yo MTV and BET like rap video channels. Don't Sweat the Technique, the video came on. They're so uncomfortable. You can tell that the label is trying to like keep them going. Like they're out in LA, like in a mansion, like with all these girls in bikinis around them. It's Don't Sweat the Technique with a live jazz band playing. But like they're not even like you can tell that it's like you can tell it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. It's like I was like, you know what? The old heads that were paying attention probably knew it was over when they seen this. This is nothing like that. You can tell the separation is there. You can tell the industry is there. Like you can smell it. Like
it's
you
like
can
the love movement.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
See, we were kids, so when we're seeing the Don't Sweat the Technique video, it's like, man, Rakim's the man. He's always so serious. He's got all these beautiful women around him, and he doesn't care. And it's like when you look at it as a grown man, you can like, oh shit, this is album number 4. Him and Eric B, like it's like they're in scenes together, but not really. And it's like it's real cut and quick and out. It's almost like they don't fuck with each other.
The chemistry looks different, for real.
Chemistry looks different.
Mad Max says, LOL, women don't have the voices to captivate like men outside of Lauryn Hill, Nicki Minaj, Queen Latifah, Eve, Foxy, and Light.
Let's go to the voice again and why voice matters.
We never talk about the best female rap voices, though. We don't. I think that's a fair point. I really like Armani Caesar's rap voice.
Here's what I was about to say. So here's what happened with Kim and Foxy opening up the game. They opened up the game for any other chick to spit their shit. And much like how it used to be with the men, Mike, it used to be the same way for the women. Well, you used to have a certain type of rap voice as a female to even get considered. And so what you got when you heard a female rap was the best of best rap voices. Mike, I love Yo-Yo's rap voice.
Me too.
I love Yo-Yo's rap voice, and I have since I was a child, Mike. I've loved Yo-Yo's rap voice since I was a kid. Mike, MC Light still has my favorite female rap voice. My favorite female rap voice is still MC Light to this day. Mike, the Brat kind of sounded like MC Light vocally when she first came out. That's part of why I liked her so much. Right. Yeah. Latifah has a great voice. Mike, Moni Love has a great voice. Roxanne Shante has a great rap voice, Mike. Even the chicks had great rap voices. Mike, Lil' Kim's voice is personable and sassy. Foxy Brown's voice is deep and throaty and dominating, almost like she can rap higher than the man can. See Nas and AZ. She actually has a deeper rap baritone than Nas and AZ does. You feel what I'm saying? As far as like when she punches, the end of her bars, her throat hits heavier than Nas and AZ does because their shit pierces through more and weaves into the next bar. No, Foxy out here like boom, like a KRS would on the track. That shit matters, Mike. We like Armani so much, and she's sexy, but Mike, her voice, she has the best female rap voice right now, and it's not even a conversation.
Man,
Armani got the best female rap voice. It's not even a conversation.
I think Lauren might have my favorite female rap voice, period. But then it might be Foxy right after that, though.
No, that's my three, Mike. Like Foxy and Lauren, those are the best verses. And how about this? I get what you're saying, but it's so hard for me to remember Lauren's rap voice. You feel what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I was just listening to the Carnival the other day. Yellow cheese bus getting beat into if I cuss. Yeah, I was like, yo.
Oh, Mike, get out of my head. I was listening to the Carnival the other day. I listened to the Carnival 3 days ago for the first time in like forever.
Yeah, Lauren's rap voice was crazy. The way she came in the Fuji La, it was like.
You want to know what, Mike? The Carnival's underrated, Mike. That album might be a classic, Mike.
But,
Mike,
how about this? Classic. That's
one of those albums that was like when it came out, people thought it was really good. How about this?
No, I think people thought it was great when it came out. You know what happened to that album? The Miseducation came after that, and it was over.
Right.
No,
right.
Because
Miseducation's better.
Yeah, because Wyclef was running 97.
He was.
Wyclef was like the other Puff Daddy in 97 or something.
Hey, you want to know what? Like, this is what I mean. So how about this? What we heard with No Fear of Time is kind of what we heard with the Carnival, but everybody got to hear the Carnival, Mike. It's like, oh, that's that next shit.
Yeah.
But
what was done on the Carnival had never been done before.
No. But listen, Mike, the next shit had stuff that you understood. Because here's what he did. Because he knew he was doing some next shit, so he went back and redid Staying Alive.
Yeah.
Guantanamera. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came back. Gone to November is a beautiful record. You get what I'm saying? So he did certain things, and they didn't do those things.
Gunpowder is a beautiful record.
I'm going to tell you what also disturbed me too, Mike, especially, with all this shit that's going on in Atlanta, Mike. When I heard John Forte rapping about his drug enterprise on Staying Alive, I thought to myself, I said, and that's when they started tapping us up on record. Because he literally talked about running an international cocaine ring on Staying Alive. You know that, right?
I guess I never paid attention to it.
You need to sit down to it. He's literally talking about being in the Caribbean, talking with his lawyers and running an international cocaine enterprise. Mike, the feds caught that shit too because a year later he was in handcuffs moving weight through the airport. You remember that?
I remember that.
Yep. Go listen to the verse on Staying Alive. That's how I got them. People need to be quiet. Streets is watching. Blocks keep clocking, waiting for you to break, make your first mistake.
4-5 The Hero says Shay needs a verse on a song like Nicki had on Monster. That would help her get noticed.
Yes.
Let's see. 4-5 The Hero also says, would it be fair to do a Native Tongue versus Wu-Tang versus? Whew.
No. How about this? Because I have... Hold on. The Wu-Tang classic stuff is more top heavy. But if we were talking top 100 rap albums, I would probably say there would be 7 Wu-Tang or Wu-Tang related projects, maybe 7 or 8, and maybe like 10 or 11 Native Tongue related projects. You feel what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Just Tribe and Daylight, you can go about 7 deep.
No,
8 deep.
Is Latifah, Common, and the Roots included in this Native Tongue thing?
That's if the Roots are included, that's not fair.
Well, that's what Native Tongue is.
No, they're an extension of the Native Tongue.
Rules.
Are the Roots part of the Native Tongues collective?
I think so.
It's very problematic. No, I'm not taking Wu-Tang. I'm not taking Wu-Tang because that's hold on. So you're telling me De La, Tribe, and the Roots, and I got to take Latifah
and Common and Latifah.
No, I'm not doing that. That's dumb.
Mad Max says, Coop, I've been trying to put my female friends on the Shay and Rhapsody, and they tell me they boring. The farthest they're willing to go with Lady London and girls duet to hear MCs from women, unless it's about scamming dudes. I mean, I think that's a conversation too. I've always been one of
No,
those people too,
that's
like
no.
like how you observe the dance floor when like the most degrading record comes on in the club and the women run to the dance floor. It's like, do they hear what's in these, lyrics? You remember that song that was out here? I forgot who made it, but it was like, put that dick off in that hole. Put that dick off in there. You know what I'm talking about? Women would go crazy when that record came on. I was like, me as a young man, I'm like, is this not degrading? But hey, whatever.
I think Ice Cube said it best. Is like, he's asked about, why you call women bitches. He's like, no. He's like, not all women are bitches. He's like, but there are bitches and hoes.
No,
and he said
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that those records that are complained about seem to get embraced the most. And then when you got somebody like Mad Max trying to put women onto a Shea Noir or a Rhapsody, they say they're boring. They might listen to City Girls.
That's what I mean. No, but that's what I mean about the sexualization of it, because it used to be. How about this? When Lil' Kim and Foxy came out, it's like, you understand that Lauren was existing and walking around and outselling them.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. When Lil' Kim and Foxy were at their peak and existed, Lauren was walking around outselling them in a group and as a solo artist. Like, bitch, please. You feel what I'm saying? And so all I'm saying is that, well, what happened to that balance? Yeah. And I'm not a woman, so I don't know what I need to do to provide that balance. Now, and here's what I mean. Well, are the women as superficial as the men? Because here's the reality of the matter. Well, in 1996, Mike, if you're telling me, it's like, well, Coop, who do you want? It's like, well, do you want Lauryn Hill, like Lil' Kim or Foxy Brown? Like, want? Oh, I still want Lauren more than them too, and she's the better MC too. You feel what I'm saying? And so is it some of that playing into the factor for the women too? Because Lauren was drop dead gorgeous on top of being able to out-rap these girls and out-sing these girls and making better songs than these girls and selling more records and winning more Grammys.
With all that being said, though, Coop, why do you think that Lil' Kim was more impactful than Lauren? Because she was.
I hate to say it. I think it's for some of the same reason that Dr. Dre and Snoop were more impactful than Rakim in a lot of ways.
Well, they outsold him. You just said that Lauren outsold Kim. So why is Kim more impactful than Lauren?
I think she's speaking to a broken part of our culture and our women, just to be quite honest with you, that Lauren's not speaking to, because Lauren's empowered. And Lauren's probably no different in her brokenness, but her expression of the brokenness.
Well, I mean, she said that in that thing, doo-wop.
That's why I was actually thinking about doo-wop. Is like, listen to the expression of the brokenness, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean about, like, Lil' Kim's that chick from around the way. And it's like, with Lil' Kim, it's almost like you're so happy for her. It's like, oh, shit, nigga, you made it? Like, that's why I told you, it's like the chick that's saying, I'm drinking babies, then I cracks for the Mercedes, act shady and filth. It's like, no, I know that shady-ass broad. She stays right around the corner from me.
Well, Lauren said Lauren is only human. Don't think I hadn't been through the same predicament.
The same predicament. Yeah. Listen to the expression of the plight. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Michael Williams says, Coop, off the top of your head, how many albums are better than What's Going On all time?
By Marvin Gaye?
Not a lot.
All time? Sign of the Times and Purple Rain, Off the Wall and Thriller, Inner Visions and Songs in the Key of Life. After that, we can start having conversations. I can't give you anything succinctly after those albums off the top of my head. You could probably pull one of Stevie's albums out.
The fact that What's Going On comes out before all of those kind of gives it an edge, too.
What'd you say?
The fact that What's Going On came out before all of those gives it an edge as well.
I was about to say the existence of the Prince and the existence of Sign of the Times and Songs in the Key of Life and Inner Visions definitely have something to do with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Directly. I mean, there's direct influence in those projects. Succinctly, what's the album after Inner Visions, Mike? The one that won the Grammy that doesn't get as much praise.
Oh, you talking about Fulfillness?
Yep, that's the one. There we go.
That's my personal favorite.
That album musically is the musicality of that album.
I love that album.
Is the closest thing to what's going on musically speaking. Yeah. Not lyrically, but musically speaking.
I think I'm going to listen to that album tonight. I love that album. I actually had that on vinyl, too. Mad Max says, We can't just blame men. When I promise you, Shay is getting more men out here at her shows than females. Also, females are more into R&B than rap. They're into melodies. I've always heard that. I think Andre 3000 said that. Like, women are into the melodies and men are into the beats. Mad Max
you're
says,
saying these women need to be more melodic? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, man. This is what I'm gonna say, and
Because
I
that's the
could be
thing.
wrong.
Listen to what you're saying. Like, Light's not melodic. Latifah, not melodic. Kim, Foxy, not melodic. Like, when did that become a requirement? That's what I'm saying. Is like, well, you tell me, because it's like, well, I don't. Well, if it's a man's world, and you're saying, well, the women aren't supporting them, and it's like, well, no, I know women who love Light and Latifah and Lauren and Foxy and Kim, and so like, tell me why Che and Rhapsody aren't getting supported by the women. Like, don't tell me it's because of that they don't like sing melodies though, because it's like none of those chicks sung melodies really. Like when Kim was on Put Your Lighters Up, that was the first time I heard her really like even like harmonize.
I think Nicki gets a lot of female
that
support.
Time she's been 10 years in the game, Mike.
I think Nicki and Cardi get a lot of female support.
But are they getting it musically? That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's not a music thing, Mike.
Well, where's it coming from then?
Like, it's a personality thing. See, this is what I mean. We got to start, like, it's almost like the hip hop.
Hold on. You think Nicki is a personality thing? Now, I give you Cardi, but I don't think women like Nicki because of her personality.
No, it's the fact that she has one, like a big one, or multiples of them.
Okay.
You feel me? It's almost like, it's like 50 said, it's like, well, all news is like kind of good news. It's like, well, it all sells. It's like, well, no, you may not like Nicki's personality, but don't she have one?
Yeah, that's facts. Mad Max says, nobody thinks Hitler Wears Hermes is a classic. That's select taste. I think it's trash. Let's see. I see another super chat in here, and we can kind of wrap this thing up and get ready for Friday's show with some music. CJ Kidd says, who would have the better verse between Rhapsody, Armani Caesar, 3D Nate, Shay Noir, Lady London, Shay Bigger, and Hasidity?
I would put Sims in there, but right now I would tell you that like Shay right now,
she's rapping better than everybody.
Yeah, she's rapping better than everybody, but here's the thing about it, and this is what I mean. Armani can do some like Biggie shit to Shay though. Yeah. Because of the voice. Mm-hmm. It's that the voice matters. And so has Armani gets better as an MC with each turn, like $100 hiccup. Oh, she's the most dangerous person out here because her voice is the most lethal. Because her voice, vocally speaking, and this is what I mean, is like, well, MC wise, she's not where, like, you remember the I Wanna Be Down remix, Mike? Mm-hmm. Vocally, she fits right in.
Yeah,
you're right. You can put her on that beat and replace one of those girls. Now, she's not the MC that those three are yet, in my opinion. But vocally, Mike, if you were to sub one of them out and put her in, no, it could still work. And that's the highest praise that I can give somebody vocally as a female MC. So vocally, she has it, Mike. And you've been listening to her deliver. She delivered on that. What's that joint? The joint with Chains, the Forest Lawn joint on Hitler Wears Hermes with Chains and Westside. We just heard her on the joint with Benny and Stove. The voice is there. And so she's the one that really, really has it, because if she delivers lyrically that's comparable to a level of a Sims or a Che or a Love, well, she's got it in the bag because she's got the voice, much like Big did. It's like when Big put the lyrics in the bag on Life After Death, everybody's going, that's the illest nigga I ever heard. Well, that's because he already had damn near the best voice that you had ever heard and one of the best flows that you had ever heard. It was really just about if he was going to put it together lyrically. Armani's in some of that same category from the female side because she's got a MC. Like, I don't know how you feel about it. It's like, who you say is your favorite female rap voice?
I said Lauren.
Okay, so I like Rod Digger a lot Foxy, too, man. Right?
I like Rod Digger a lot too. I love when Lauren and Rod Digger went back and forth on Cowboys. I was listening to that the other day too.
Mike. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So how about this? Even vocally on Cowboys, you can hear that Lauren is somewhere that Digger's not, and that's what I mean about Armani. Is it's like, no, she got a Lauryn Hill light type of voice.
It's a dominating voice. Ethan
it is
Hill
like
says,
when she comes in and you're like, oh, that's her. Yep.
Ethan Hill says Shauna from DTP is slept on and she's special. I agree. Shout out to Shauna. I don't think she got the chance that she should have gotten. She showed that she could, first of all, rap her ass off, and she could actually go out there and make some hit records, because a lot of those big Luda hits, she's a big part of. She's a big part of What's Your Fantasy. She's a big part of stand up. She is.
No, here's also the reality of the matter too, Mike. You and I talked about this situation too, about how many rap women have been done wrong, because it's really like they got one album, and if they were great, they got 2 albums, and after that, it's you're on your own.
Yeah, you're right.
Right,
like Shauna didn't get a chance to mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, like that's what I mean is that Kim is so groundbreaking just because it's like, no, Kim got Hardcore, Notorious K.I.M., La Bella Mafia. Like, she got to make albums, Mike. She got to make albums. Like
Naked Truth.
Not, Mike, I couldn't even. Did Queen Latifah make more than 2 albums in her prime? I don't think so.
Yeah, she made the first one.
And then Black Rain, and then Living Single happened, Mike.
I feel like there's something between Black Rain and the first album.
No, there's not. I don't think
it's
so.
It's not?
Okay. No. That's what I'm telling you. Even with Light was like 3 albums. And the third album was like the joint that had Roughneck on it and all that stuff. And then it was like, okay, we tried to switch it up with Light. It's done. Like, even with Foxy, they tried to dump Foxy off. They tried to dump Foxy off after Broken Silence. They were like, Foxy, you get 3 albums. The Black Roses album never came out. That might have been her best piece of work. Like, the industry dumps off the high-end female after album number 2 or 3.
Well, what Shay is doing right now is very special. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, no roots in common are Soul Aquarians. Now, Native Tongue versus Soul Aquarian. See, they're a little bit of the same, because Q-Tip's in Soul Aquarian too. CJ Kidd also says, who did the naming the chicks on the verse better? Fife on Butter or DMX on What These Bitches Want From Me? Well, that one goes to X, and I love Fife.
I was saying Fife. I say Fife.
Okay. Jay Short
There's something nostalgic about that part. That was the first time I heard a dude do that. I was like, this nigga's getting money.
Yeah, he was killing that. Jay Short says, Coop, I think you said Rhythm Nation was the best R&B album of the 80s. What about Guy's debut? Started a genre that dominated radio for half a decade.
No, I didn't say it was the best album of the 80s. I said that you could sit Rhythm Nation right next to Thriller or Purple Rain or Sign of the Times, and you wouldn't lose anything because it deserves to be held in that regard. I would still put those 3 albums ahead and have that album at 4th.
Mad Max says, Lauren for the women that wear their real hair. Lil' Kim is for the women I see outside every day in wigs and talking like a dude with reckless loose lips.
See, why can't it be both? See, how about this? Why can't that woman be one person?
It can be. Mad Max says, Lady London would out-rap Shay and Armani, Coop. I pick her for the super chat. I'm sorry. I pick her for that super chat track over Shay Bigger. They'll bring the bars and personality. Personality is important.
Personality is important.
All right, well, I guess, man, we can get up out of here, man. We can cover, like, the album stuff on Friday. I'm sure there's going to be some more news to cover, some things that we didn't even cover on here. But for the people who want to check out that Patreon that we did, it was epic on Monday. The actual episode is pinned up to the top of the chat. You can click that. And like I said, man, try to get us up to 10,000 subscribers, man. We almost there. Hit that subscribe button and, click the bell icon. Rock with us so you know when we live. Any closing thoughts, Coop, before we get up out of here?
No, I mean, we just have to start unpacking these things fairly. That's what I mean is it like, I just remember a time, part of why 96 was probably the best hip hop year ever in terms of music, Mike, is because everybody got to exist and be who they were. It's like, no, it was okay for Lauren to be who she was and Kim to be who she was, and they got to be stars all in the same in totally different ways. It didn't have to be like, there was like none of this shit going on in 96 where it's like, oh, well, you got to do this way or that way for it to work. It's like, no, Kim was nice, Lauren was nice, They did different things. They both sold a lot of records. They both changed the culture. They just changed the genre. And this is even what I mean about, and here's maybe where the women can chime in more and let us know what's going on. Like I told you, like Kim may have like had the hood, but Lauren had the world at her fingertips, Mike. Like Kim had the hood, like she had the block at her fingertips. Lauren had the world at her fingertips in the 90s and the end of the 2000s. Like it wasn't Kim that we was talking about.
Well,
like
we
that.
were, but I know what you mean.
No.
Lauren's a once in a lifetime.
We were talking about Kim, but this is what I mean. Some of that had to do with Big, artist to artist. We was not talking about Kim like she could fuck with Lauren on the mic, and you know that.
No, I know that.
And when we heard something, and then when we heard Mike, you remember hearing Lost Ones and Doo-Wop around the same time, Mike. Wasn't nobody walking around talking about Kim and Foxy when Lauren dropped Doo-Wop and Lost Ones.
She was always viewed as something different, you know.
Right. So so you don't got to talk a certain way or be certain. No, like Lauren already dispelled that notion. But Mike, she was as highly skilled as it came.
Jay Short said
highly skilled as it came.
Jay Short said you got to watch those herbal tea chicks too. And on that note, we
gotta call Tyrone. Call.